Because I went to bed and you were like, I went to bed thinking you were in admiration of me and were saying something really sweet, but it turned out you were making a little bit of a dig, which apparently you weren't, but maybe you were.
We're live and we
I don't
are
think so.
recognizing that all of us wear a brilliant disguise in this world. Megan will learn what that means soon. She's on a journey. For the time being, she's just going to have to think of it as an amazing turn of phrase. Hello and welcome to the Helping Friendly podcast, coming to you live from the boardwalk in Asbury Park, New Jersey. This is Brian, RJ, and Megan. You may be asking yourself right now, why am I talking instead of RJ? Today is a draft day. We are drafting today. We are doing our summer 2024 venue draft. What is that, you might ask? Well, we are going to tell you very, very soon. And then we're going to draft. 3 podcasters enter. 1 will come out victorious today. I told Megan not to worry about this draft, but it was all a ruse. I hope that she is stressed. I hope that we have gray hairs forming. I hope that she got minimal sleep last night because she was listening to 27 fish shows in a row, maybe at the same time, different apps, different phones, trying to prepare. It may be fruitless. It may be successful. RJ, I just know, is going to pick some amazing fish shows that everyone needs to be listening to. But we're going to get into this. How are you guys doing here this morning? Meg, we'll start with you.
I'm doing good. I'm coming off 2 weeks of vacation, which feels really nice. I spent the first week in North Carolina, the lake with my family. And then in a weird turn of events, we had another lake vacation right after that, but here in upstate New York. And it was beautiful. I got to have all of these nostalgic memories of my summers on Lake Michigan when I grew up in Grand Rapids, going out to South Haven on the coast there and playing cribbage when it rained and water skiing and tubing and swimming in the lake. So I got to have all those memories and spend 2 weeks basically just reading and listening to a lot of fish and a lot of goose. It's really nice.
That is the way to do it. I love that. And lake vacations, they're the greatest thing in the world. Lake culture, man, just gets overshadowed by beach culture and by mountain chateau culture. Looking at you, Goose. Caribbean culture. Like, let's give it up for the lake folks. You know,
Yeah.
pasty white people in pontoon boats sitting on lakes eating fried food and drinking line of kugels. Just, my God, some amazing folks. I want to hear Goose's Lake House Jam. All right, that's what I want to hear.
Ooh.
RJ, my man, how are you doing?
Brian.
Have you offended
Hi.
anyone yet today?
I just found out that I did. But before that, no, because I woke up late today because I went to dinner last night. We went to a great restaurant here that I've been wanting to go to for a long time. I have a friend visiting, so we went to Zahav, which is like definitely a place that you're supposed to go in Philly. So we did that. It's been a long weekend. I feel like this weekend has been like 2 weeks somehow.
Yeah,
But I'm like ready for
Agreed.
the kids. I'm ready for the kids to go to camp tomorrow. I'm ready for this. So
Far
ready.
be it for me to complain about a couple of days off, but yes, in the middle of summer, being like, hey, your kids don't have to go to school or camp because it's a holiday is a pretty, and I say this with incredible layers of sarcasm, a pretty awesome thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Brian, how is this going to work?
All right. So we wanted to do a special summer tour episode. Last year, we built our own live bait. This year, we decided let's try it with a draft. So we have 9 venues that the band is playing. Now, of those, we had to finagle a bit because they haven't played a ton of shows at some of these venues. But we have 9 venues with shows, historical shows from each of those venues. We are going to go ahead here and each draft a show from a venue. The categories that we have, which are the venues, we have Great Woods. We have the broader state of Connecticut, which focuses on everything from 1989 to 2022. We have Alpine Valley. We have Missouri, the entire state of Missouri, the Show Me State, I believe it is called, with shows ranging from March 30th, 1992 to June 12th, 2019. We have Deer Creek. I don't care what it's called today. I don't care what corporate sponsor they need to stay in business. They are forever Deer Creek. Just slap that on a bumper sticker. Just hashtag it, whatever it is. Let's just call it Deer Creek and move forward. We have the entire state of Michigan, which includes the UP, but I don't think Fish is played in the UP, sadly. That would be
Not
very
yet.
cool to see them up there. Not
Not
yet. Not
yet.
yet. We have, so Bethel has only been played 5 times, I want to say 5 times. So what we did was we have the entire upstate of New York. So no New York City, no New York City surrounding area, no SPAC because there's just a lot of shows from SPAC, and then no special festival shows within there because those are a different category. But upstate New York, and then everything from the 90s because they played a lot upstate New York in the late 80s. However, I did include the 2 Ian's Farm shows just in case someone really wanted to prove their fish history here. But every show in upstate New York through July 2023. We have all of the festivals. That is our 8th category. And then finally, we have Dick's. We are going to draft 18 shows. Each of us will draft. No, excuse me. That's not correct. That is incorrect math, dude. We are going to draft 27 shows. Can we get our editor in here to fix that?
Oh my
so
God.
I sound like I know what I'm talking about at 7:15 in the morning. We're going to draft 27 shows, 9 apiece. And we are going to come up with a list of shows that we recommend you guys check out. If you're like, hey, I want to hear what fish sounded like at Deer Creek ahead of the Deer Creek run. I'm going to the Deer Creek shows. I'm pretty excited. I want to know what fish at Deer Creek sounds like again. I want to remind myself what happens in the cornfields. Well, hey, man, we're going to give you 3 shows that we recommend you checking out. So this should be fun. This should be engaging. We'll have some backstories, some defense, probably some infighting. I'm sure that someone on this episode is going to leave with a black eye. It will probably be RJ. You know, just the way that it's going to go.
Wow.
We're just, I'm just predicting what may happen here. You guys get really intense about this, and I just, you know, I want to make sure that we all are walking into this understanding how serious this business is. Do you understand how serious this business is, Meg?
Yeah, well, I think it's you and I that take this particularly seriously, if we're being honest. You know, RJ's rolling in, like, scrolling through a few things, just gonna pull this shit out of the top of his head and do amazing. You know, I have, like, an untold number of notes, and, I imagine after I beat you in the first draft, you put in a little extra time now.
I upped it to
Mhm.
7.5 pound weights. You know, that was the
Yeah.
goal.
That's good.
That's
good.
important.
That's good. Just so you
RJ's
know,
just
I
gonna
like
whip
10,
around
so
and look at a tape at one of his like tape cassette
exactly.
decks and just be like,
That's what I mean.
this classic tape I got in 1995.
I might do that.
Might do that. That'd be
I
a
might do that.
nice visual. The listeners will get nothing out of that. But we're gonna jump into this. Do we have any business that we need to cover before we go?
No.
This I have
Zero.
No,
I have
that's
none to share. We've already
We
been
got-
here this week. We're just
We
jumping in the
have
episode.
for us, for the listeners, for humanity, we got 27 shows to draft. We better fucking go.
We do. We do. All right. So to do this, I am going to say, since he has not yet won a draft, RJ, you get to pick a number between 1 and 6, and we'll go around in a circle on that. RJ, what is your number?
5.
Megan, what is your number?
always 2.
I am 3. Okay.
Also,
Can't go over.
I did win the
So-
tweezer draft. Just so
Yeah,
you know.
that's
In my mind.
to be
right,
honest,
and
in the fan
going-
vote, I came in second, which I definitely feel like was a little bit generous, but I'll take it.
Going first in the Fish 2024, summer 2024 venue draft will be RJB.
Yes. Now we're
Wow.
talking. Now we're
Okay.
talking.
Wow.
All right, so now it's between 2 and 3. Can't go over, can go under. So Meg
I
can get
know,
1
you
or 2
kind of
here.
You kind of
I'm
fucked
kind of
me, so
screwed. Did I? You have more options than I do.
No,
Going
you have 3
second.
Oh, you can't go over.
Can't go
Okay.
over. Going second in the summer 2024 venue draft is Meg. Means I'm
Wow.
going
I'm
last.
third.
Yep, I got the turn. Sorry. You
Yeah.
know,
First or
could
third
have
is
given me.
better.
Could have just given us the turn. You could have
Yeah.
asked for the lineup. You know. But we're gonna go first. We're gonna go first here
Wow.
with RJ. So RJ picks first.
Yep.
Then Meg. Then
Mhm.
I
Yep.
go twice. Then Meg. Then RJ goes twice. So on and so forth. So for anyone out there who is not unaccustomed to our rules, it's a snake draft. We're gonna start now. RJ can pick any category,
Go.
any show. He is setting the tone here of what is about to happen. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and
man.
girls,
This is
the
this is
summer
a little much.
2024 venue draft.
I'm so excited.
Oh my god. Okay, I have a clarifying question.
Please.
Number
Mhm.
one is festival is just festival. Is that right?
Yeah, not
So
a
yeah,
specific
for the
show.
correct. So
It's the
festivals,
only category. Yeah.
you're claiming the whole festival. So just so everyone out there hears, we've got Clifford Ball, The Great Went, Lemon Wheel,
Yeah.
Oswego, Big Cypress, It, Coventry. Someone may pick Coventry. Festival 8, Super Bowl 9, Magna Ball, and Curve. Oh no, sorry, it ends with Magna Ball.
Yeah, it does. Okay, Big Cypress. I'll just start there.
All right,
Yeah,
That
I
is
mean,
a-
that would have been my first draft too.
that's a good choice. That sets the bar high.
I
Yeah.
feel like that was like really obvious.
Yeah, that was
Right?
what you had to do first.
Sometimes the obvious choice is the best choice.
Yeah. There's a razor about that.
You know, I dig it. All right. So RJ kicks it off with not just a festival, but a New Year's festival that also includes a 7-hour fish set, which also includes a sand and a quadraphonic toppling. Excuse me, a 40-minute sand.
Yeah.
Amazing stuff. Megan, with that personal dig right there, just in hand, what will you pick?
Well, I'm going to the Midwest because I love Midwest fish and I'm so excited we're having a good showing this year in our shows. I'm going to go to Alpine Valley
Wow.
and I am going to choose July 14th, 2019, Alpine Valley. I think this category is a little not as deep as some of the other ones. So I want to get this on the board. One of the longest jams at 3.0. We've got rarities, bust outs, playfulness, audience engagement, the Ruby Waves, incredible wild set, swept away steep, death don't hurt very long, Aculus, Buffalo Bill, Yem, Catapult Contact, Yem Sandwich. I mean, it's just, show's got everything. Even has
Wow.
a marriage proposal.
It
a good call.
does. Yeah, that's a great show. And that show came at the end of that was the last night of a kind of underwhelming tour. I felt like there were some good moments, but it wasn't the strongest that we've heard in the last 10 years. And then out of nowhere, they play this show that just has all these crazy bust outs, that massive jam that
Mhm.
has helped kick off the return of 30+ minute jamming. Did you guys, were either of you at this show or did you guys webcast this show?
No, neither.
No, I didn't webcast it.
Neither.
The next day, listened, but
I webcasted this, and like I said, it was a slightly underwhelming tour. Tensions were high on Fish Tour, Fish Twitter at this point in time.
Yep.
And
mm,
this was the night that everyone just kind of was like, "Why? Where was this band for the last 4 weeks? What the hell just happened?" Just unbelievable. Great stuff.
I just
I wrote the fish.net review for that show because I was supposed to be at that show, and I sold the
oh,
tickets,
no
but I
way.
still had the fish.net review. And good friend of the pod, Rob Mitchum, said I did a good job. He was there. He was in the venue, which was a huge compliment. And then because I missed this run, I went to Alpine 2022, which I will not be drafting during this series. I can promise you that.
Yeah.
Can I tell you
Yeah.
guys one thing that I've said before?
Yes.
Trey, I talked to Trey after this show, like a month later, because we were interviewing him for After Midnight, and he said that they were trying to, or they had planned on jamming Mercury, and
Right.
the Mercury just like didn't go anywhere, and so then they like went into Ruby Waves, but they knew they were like going to do a long jam for sure, but I think they thought it was going to be Mercury, and then it wasn't.
I do love that idea of them planning out a jam and just like signifying that we're going to try this, and then it being the other song, like them being in Mercury and being like, this just isn't working, let's abandon, and then Ruby Waves, and now that's like one of the biggest jam vehicles Fish has. It's amazing stuff.
Love that.
All right, I thought long and hard in the intermission here. I have one I have one category that I've identified as being very
Wait, Brian.
slim.
Brian,
Go
can I
ahead.
interrupt you? Sorry. Should
Yes,
I
of course.
should I project this sheet so that people can see what we're looking at, or is that too much?
Why don't you do it? Let's see how it looks. You
Yeah,
don't have
let's
to
see what
look
it looks like.
Because it's a little bit. I guess it would be hard because you have to like kind of constantly scroll.
It's so tiny too.
It's so tiny. Yeah.
But that's how many shows we chose from.
Yeah.
I think
And
that
then
this
there's-
works. I think this actually looks good.
Okay.
I would
All right, I'm
just scroll slightly over so that we can see the whole. Yeah, we'll
Actually,
figure it out. There you go. There we go.
Look at
All right.
that.
Welcome into the HFPod backstage where we have docs and spreadsheets galore and fish note files, all this sort of stuff. Okay. Galore.
Galore.
We're in organized operation here. So I've identified one region that is a little bit weaker than the rest. Still some great shows. I don't want to offend anyone here this early. Maybe I do. But it has one show that I really wanted to get. I think it's going to hurt RJ's feelings a lot. I'm okay with that. I've done it before. And that is, I'm going to go to the great state of Michigan, an absolutely beautiful place.
Don't do it.
Some excellent shows here, but I'm going to take what I think is one of the strongest second sets of one of the strongest tours, which is 12/6/1997 from Ann Arbor, Michigan.
You're going to live to regret this, Brian.
That sucks.
I might be. The cool thing is I can now, gauge your opinions on this and your anger, and I can pivot again because I have another pick. But I just want to just say this tape got sent to me very early in my fish experience. And my friend who gave it to me said, just like put your headphones on and listen to the first 5 minutes of this tweezer. And I was like, okay, I've heard tweezer before. Like, what the heck? And it's so slow and so funky and so eerie and so just like in the pocket. And I was like, okay, here's another side to this band that I had no idea existed, and it blew me away. And Wally Holland's essay on this show, where he talks about around 12, 13 minutes, everything just turns purple in his brain. I hear that and I feel that in the. Oh, excuse me. Ben Gardner just corrected me. I'm so sorry. It's Auburn Hills, not Ann Arbor. I am so sorry.
Did you say Ann Arbor?
Oh, you said Ann Arbor?
I am so sorry.
All right, we got to end this.
That's unbelievable. As a Michigander, I object. I wasn't even listening because I was so filled with fury and looking at my draft picks. But wow, yeah. It's the Palace, baby.
I'm so
my
sorry.
God.
You're right. The Palace of Auburn Hills. My goodness.
Where I saw Milli Vanilli and MC Hammer.
I was way too busy plotting my revenge against Brian to catch that.
Thank you, Ben Gardner, for just noticing that. The Palace of Auburn Hills, where Michael Jordan took a beating. Scottie Pippen had to play with a migraine headache in the 89 or 90 Eastern Conference Finals. And then the Bulls ultimately swept them in 91 and sent those sorry-ass Pistons on their way. All right, so 12/6/97, amazing second set. Really, really good first set as well. I'm glad to have that. Okay, so I have identified. Anyone want to say anything about that show? Just
one of
one
the best shows I've ever seen, for sure.
Ever.
Yeah, definitely one of my favorite shows from Michigan ever played. It's fine.
All right.
That was a hell of a weekend. I will talk about that eventually, because a Friday, Saturday, Sunday combo of Cleveland, Detroit, Dayton was
that's insane.
Something only an 18-year-old could really do well.
Survive. Yeah.
Can you keep talking about that, because I'm trying to figure out my next show?
Nope.
I need you to fill some space here.
No, you gotta go.
Okay. The only thing
you've got the turn.
The only thing I think you didn't say is the transition. Yeah. Well, there. First of all, there's the bathtub gin into foam segue in the first set, which is amazing. It's like an amazing segue, and then the tweezer into Isabella, into Twist, into Piper. Wow. Okay.
It just does not stop.
It doesn't stop.
It does not stop.
Yeah.
Thank you, RJ, for being a kind co-host, even when we're in deep competition. And I just cut your heart out with that pick. I have selected my second pick here. So again, I'm on the turn. This is going to go back to Megan. RJ is going to be on the turn. We will all have 9 picks. I'm going to stay in the Midwest. I'm going to stay in a state that I identified as being a little bit lighter as well. I'm between two shows in this state. This is the state of Missouri. I'm between two shows, and I'm going to go with one that is a bit of a reach, a bit of a risk, but is very much of a Brian Brinkman take. I think that the right and popular choice would be to take 7/29/98 or 11/22/94, both outstanding shows. But I do want to give you something that goes a little bit under the radar. Okay, that's just how I am. I have to think in 3D chess forms. This is 11/19/1996 from the Municipal Auditorium in Kansas City, Missouri,
Interesting.
because Kansas
Interesting.
City straddles two states. This is a show in a tour that we talked about. This was our number 25 tour that we focused on at the beginning of our series. Pretty standard first set: Yamar, bag, foam, theme, mound, stash, fee, taste, loving cup. Nothing really outside the box, just solid, straight ahead fall 1996 fish. But the second set is one of my favorite sets that the band has ever played. You get
Wow.
David Bowie, A Day in the Life, a huge, beautiful jammed out bathtub gin, Into the Vibration of Life, into You Enjoy Myself, and then we end the set with the Star Spangled Banner and Fire. The jam from Gin into the Vibration of Life is some of my favorite music that they've played at this point in time. You're starting to hear the early sounds of 97, 98, 99, that push towards minimalism, soundscapes, kind of ambient music. It's just beautiful stuff. Really good flowing set, the kind of thing that you could get in 96 that didn't need a massive Type 2 jam, but just featured excellent, really well played versions of classic Fish songs, all arranged in really nice ways. So if you haven't checked this show out, I would highly recommend it. I love it. Might be a reach, might be a risk here, but I got 12,697. I think I'm going to be okay going forward.
Wow.
Interesting choice. I was not expecting you to choose a fall 96 show.
Nope.
Nobody was. We'll see what happens. This is like me throwing on a little drop shot when we're in a big rally. Just see what happens. We'll see what's going on. Megan, you're up. It's your turn to respond.
Well, I'm kind of torn because the first draft that we ever did, I played really strategically and stuck to my strategy, and it worked. The second one, I started to get nervous about not getting the biggest ones in other categories. And so I went off strategy and just started picking the biggest shows I could from each category. And I'm a little bit torn between right now if I should stick to my strategy and try to get stronger ones in lesser categories, or just go for the big because I don't have the best draft order. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think both approaches have their pros and cons. Like the first, you're going to be left maybe with a couple choices you don't necessarily want on the back end. Whereas the latter, you may just miss out on a few other like big. I don't know. I feel like they both could work.
Yeah. Okay.
I think you do you. Trust yourself.
Yeah. I think that because I have a bad draft order, I don't ever have any turns, so I never get 2 in a row. So I think I have to lock down. I'm just making sure people know that. I have to lock down some of these bigger shows that I feel that are really important to have. So, bucket, I'm going off script. I'm going to go. This is kind of going against nostalgia too, but I'm just going to do it. I'm going to Dick's. I've never been to Dick's. But there is one show that I feel like I just had to have from Dick's, and that is 9/16/15. To me, this is not only the best encore of all time, but it's also such an incredible gesture of gratitude. To me, it's really unparalleled in terms of generosity of spirit from the band to an audience. It's playful, it's fun, it's hugely sentimental. It's a once in a lifetime example of just the earnestness and the humility that this band is not afraid to share with its fans. Of course, the first set has some fun rarities. You've got 2 gorgeous peaks in the second set with Slave and Disease. But this encore I can only imagine what it was like to be there. I think it's one of the most special moments in Fish history, and I want it in my list.
I webcast this show and I fell asleep during the second set because I was living in Maryland at the time. and I didn't know it, but I was a week out of being a parent. My son was born 4 weeks early, so like this was like my last weekend to like either
Mm.
stay up and do my own thing or actually get some sleep, and I chose the former. And I woke up as they were going into Harpua, and I was like, is this like a YouTube thing where like a different show
Right.
started? Like I was so disoriented, and I spent the whole encore being like, what the hell is going on? Why is this the greatest thing I've ever seen?
Yeah, it's special.
It's a good pick. That disease as well. The
Mhm.
Katy Perry firework disease. My God, my heart just rolls every time I hear it. That is a good pick. It's not what I would have picked at Dick's, so I'm thankful that you took your Dick's pick like that.
Yeah.
But that is good stuff. Summer 2015. We just talked about that, didn't we?
Mhm.
Like 2
Yeah.
weeks ago?
So fun.
My God. RJ, what are your thoughts about summer 2015?
Amazing. Nothing we haven't said already. We've been talking about it for weeks. Still great. Still great.
Still great. All right, RJ, you are up. You have the turn. Just a reminder, Megan does not have a turn in this entire draft. She has one
Nope.
turn each time she goes, no two in a row. We are trying to hamstring her on purpose. RJ, what do you got? You got 2 picks.
Well, we'll stay in the Centennial State, but we'll go back a few years to one of the best shows of all time. One of the most highly regarded shows. It's a legendary show. You hear the first note and you know what show it is. And Brian, you know where I'm going here.
I do.
So I'm gonna take 831.
Mm.
831 12. Did you not think that's where I was going?
When you said 831, there was a second there where I was like, are you really going to go with 13 because of the chalk dust? And I was
The
like,
chalk dust.
I'm not going to say anything
No
until you
way.
speak here.
I love the
yeah.
chalk dust, but this
No,
is I mean, the Undermine that closes the first set is one of the coolest
Yeah,
jams that they've
yeah.
ever done, and the whole thing, the fuck your face, it's a really beautiful and an awesome Runaway Jim in the second set. I mean, this is the show when they were like clearly back. I think this was it.
There is a before Dix and an after Dix in Fish 3.0 history, and it all begins with this show. This changed the entire trajectory of the band. I just remember getting a text message from my brother-in-law at set break, and it was just like 10 times in a row, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. And I was like, I texted back and I was like, it was a great set, but let's not overreact. And he was like, did you not get what they spelled? And I looked back at the set list. I was like, oh my God. That was it. Oh my God. What a show.
Jammed Out Farmhouse. Come on.
Yeah.
They did.
Classic.
And then they play Chalk Dust Torture
So
like 3 songs
hilarious.
later as the second set's about to end. And usually this is like 2001 Golgi Antelope time. And
Yeah.
they jam out Chalk Dust. That was for a while the best jam I ever saw Fish play.
Oh, so blissy.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I should go back and listen to that. I was afraid that one of you were going to take that, but it does make my strategy a little easier now going forward. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah,
Even though that hurts. That hurts. We can't have it all. We can't have it all. That's the thing here. RJ, why don't you go on your second go, and then I will update the crowd on where we're at.
Okay. I mean, I hate to do this, Brian, but I do think that there is. I think I have to because there's a couple things that happened here that made me change my whole thing, which is there's one show that we really, really just badly need a live Fish release of.
Yes, do it.
This is so mean. I should share the text about this shit. This is so mean. Go on. Do what you're gonna do.
You took the Palace 97.
Go on.
I mean, come on.
Do it.
You know what? Actually, you know what? I don't want to do it. I think it's too mean. I think it's in the spirit of friendship. Really I don't think I can do it.
Really hoping that you would do it. My goodness.
Well, okay. There's a couple things happening here. This is really hard. I actually think I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm actually going to take 7/195 off of the Great Woods
Oh, that's a really
table.
good pick. That's a
Okay.
really good
Okay.
pick.
Yeah.
I think that's the
yeah.
best
Very
of the.
good
I think that's the best of the group by far, in my opinion.
Hmm.
That is a killer show. And
Yeah.
that is a very, very good strategic pick because Great Woods is a bit like go off
Yeah.
about
It is
this show,
light.
please, because this is an awesome show.
Well, yeah, I mean, in the summer '95, lore, which we've talked about and we will talk about more. There's the there's the shows with the 30-minute Bowies and 30-minute, and the 55-minute Tweezer and whatever. But this show has a little bit more variety to it. There's
Mhm.
a really
Mm-hmm.
awesome split open and melt in the first set. There's a great stash in the second set. There's an amazing hood to close to second to last song of the second set. It's just a really solid show that has a lot of energy and a lot of like great flow to it. And it was in the middle of this like pretty epic summer tour. So I think it's worth it.
There's
Yeah.
an amazing version, if I could,
Oh,
early in the
that's what I
set.
was just gonna say. Oh, it's so beautiful.
It's like
Extended
9
intro.
minutes, and yeah, it's got this very, very strange, like,
Yes,
approach
forgot
to
about
it in,
that.
like, the best way
Yeah. Oh
possible. Oh my
God, I
god.
love it.
Like, you're right about, like, from a variation standpoint, like, this show gives you a bit of everything that the band was doing. There's no, like, deep dive into the underworld the way that you get in certain other shows, but, like, you get enough of that. Like, Melt and Stash give you that weird 95 jamming, and the rest of it is just, like, amazing set listing, and the band, like, they were so tight during this tour. It wasn't just that they were jamming, like, they nailed everything, and, like, everything was playful. Oh my god, I fucking love this tour so much. I can't wait to talk about it.
Yeah, I'm excited too. The maze and hood, they're just like everything's played so perfectly.
Yeah.
The Incredible Perp
Yeah.
asks, "Not taking Gamehenge?"
Yeah.
We will see. We
Mm.
got 2 more picks
Let's
in the
see.
Great Wood series, but, that is some good foreshadowing, if you will, from our audience. I love it. Alright, so to recap, everyone, RJ, do you have anything else to say about
No.
7195?
Nope. It's all part of the plan. Trust the process.
So to recap everyone in terms of where we're at, RJ has taken 7195 from Great Woods, Big Cypress out of the festivals segment, 83112 from Dick's. RJ, you have a really good list so far.
Yeah,
You can't
damn.
fuck this up. You can't fuck this up, you know?
Thanks.
This this is like your first 3 rounds of the NFL draft. You've got like a premier quarterback, you've got an amazing wide receiver, and you've got a great offensive tackle. Like everything is set up for you for success. Don't fuck up your linebacker here. Don't overvalue a running back that you're just going to pay $20 million to for the next 4 years. Like, come on, let's go. Megan has got 71419 from Alpine Valley. The Big Ruby Waves bust out crazy tour finale. Excuse me. And in keeping with her theme of taking only tour finales during this series, she took 9615 from Dick's. The thank you encore, emphasis on the hue, because there is another Harpua in there. Even though Trey told us not to write it in our set list. And I've taken 11/19/96 and 12/6/97, 12/6/97 from Auburn Hills, Michigan. I got it right that time. And 11/19/96 from Kansas City, Missouri. Megan, you have your third pick ready to roll.
Okay. I think this is tricky. I'm torn between drafting Great Woods and Deer Creek, just giving you guys a little peek inside. Also
I
the
know where I would
Michigan one
go.
is a little bit. I think I'm gonna go to Great Woods because that to me is one of the weaker categories, which is
Mhm.
probably the reason why I'm not always interested in hitting the Great Woods shows, no offense. Um, But I think, as per the Incredible Perp, I just have to go 7, 8, 94, and I have to do Gamehenge because the crowd demands it. It's, the biggest show they've played there, and it's Gamehenge. It was the last time it was played until last year, so we got to do it.
It's also like that second set rules. Like the
Mhm.
Reba is amazing, the Yim is amazing. The Stash was put on live bait or live, excuse me, a live one. Just an amazing version of Stash. It's just a really, really killer show and such a great performance of Gamehenge.
Yeah, and
So
these are
wild that they
the
did that in front of a
tapes.
big audience.
Yeah, and these were the tapes that I was hearing before I went to see my first show that fall. So they're very sentimental for me. I love Summer 94. So I want to have it on my list.
That's a good show. And it breaks from your strategy of doing tour closers. So it makes
get
things
back
more
to that, don't
complicated now. Okay, I don't know what to do now.
What are you in between?
I'm between. So I think that of the remaining categories that I have, Great Woods and Connecticut are the lightest.
Yeah.
Like I don't need to worry about Dix anymore. Deer Creek, there's so much. Alpine, there's a good amount. Upstate New York is just insane.
I know, right?
So I want to get these two shows. I want to get these two venues. I'm really thinking about taking a chance here with Connecticut
Mm.
and throwing something out that is a little bit underrated, similar to what I just did with 11-19-96, but I'm also worried about that strategy slightly hamstringing me as we move forward, because maybe I'm going too indie rock here and that's not the right approach. But you know what? I think that as RJ said, trust the process. You be you. I'm going to go with an indie
Yeah.
rock take here.
Do it. That's who you are, Brian.
That's who I am. I'm wearing the flannel shirt. I'm wearing the baseball hat of the, often overlooked, underrated Chicago Cubs. Scrappy little franchise here. I'm going to go with a show from a 6-show run that is up there with my favorite weeks in all of Fish history. It is a run of shows that I would love for Kevin Shapiro, if you are listening, to release as a box set, because I think it's an amazing snapshot of the band at a really unique time in their history. And that is the run from 6/28/2000 to 7/4/2000. And I'm going to pick a show right smack in the middle of that, a little bit off the beaten path, from the Meadows Music Theater in Hartford, Connecticut, June 30th, 2000. This show, it's great. Like, I wouldn't be picking it if it wasn't great, but it does fly a little under the radar. Let me just read the set list of the first set here for you. Ha Ha Ha, AC/DC Bag with a unusual jam.
Mhm.
Tweezer, Runaway Jim, Sneakin' Sally Through the Alley, Ginseng Sullivan, Gaiudi, Golgi, which is a strange little mix of songs there in the middle of the first set. But then you end with Tweezer Reprise into Possum. And then in the second set, we get this beautiful Haley's Mango Twist segment. Great Bowie to close it out. Awesome Cavern. I feel like this show, if it were on soundboard, if this were released in a larger box set, would be adored by fans. But the tapes, as we talked about last week, they don't sound as good during this time period for some reason. And as a result, it doesn't get as much love. I don't know. I dig this show. I love it a lot. I'm gonna select it here. What are you guys' thoughts on this show? Did I go way too left field, or is this a good call?
No, this was my fourth pick. So I didn't really need a fourth, but this was there in case, I was inspired. I really like how the show has just jams in totally unexpected places. And the tweezer is short, but it's super powerful. You get a tweezer reprise in the first set, and Trey just goes
I
off
love it when
during
they do that.
Possum. I know, it's so fun. I think this is a great pick. Definitely helps me out, to be honest, in this category. I think that you just opened it up. So now I feel like really happy because I don't have to pick it because I'm happy with one or two. So now you've opened up my strategy a little bit. So I think this is a great pick, Brian. Thanks.
I appreciate all of that, Meg, including the sarcasm that was drenched in there. RJ, do your children approve of this?
Yeah, I just want to say, just quick, that it's rare that all three of them are in my office at once. So do you guys want to say hi?
Hi.
Hi.
Maya's
What's up, guys?
wearing the OG
Oh my
HFPod
goodness.
t-shirt.
Maya,
That
that's
is-
awesome.
Thanks.
That is so sick.
Franklin, can you say hi, and then you guys can go. Franklin's laying on the floor.
Hi, Franklin. Hi, Cassidy.
Hi.
Okay.
Hi.
Brian, good. This is a hard category, I think.
It is. There's a couple of the shows I wanted. There's one that I think one of you will pick that I think is probably the quote unquote right pick. There's another one that I think like sentimentally is like the really celebratory pick. This is my 80s Dylan pick. I'm here fighting the good fight for Infidels and Knocked Out Loaded. We got to do what we got to do. We got to be ourselves. All right. So my second pick here, the other category that I identified that is left that is a little bit underwhelming is Great Woods. I think the two of you have picked some outstanding shows from Great Woods. But I got to be honest now, guys. I'm stuck in the same fight here with myself once again, and I need you to walk me through this.
Okay, let's do it.
I have a classic fish show in my head that could be very easily be picked, complement this, give off the overwhelming vibe of what Great Woods is. Or I could go with one of two under the radar, off the beaten path shows. What do you guys want me to do? What do you think would be the best pick here strategically?
I know what I'd pick next. I'd go classic, probably. Just because Great Woods to me, the peak of Great Woods was like early mid 90s. Like
it really was.
Yeah. They've
What
had
about
some
you,
fun
Archie?
moments, but
Yeah, I think I agree. I mean, this is it. We're shutting it down.
We are shutting down
We're
a
shutting
category
down this
here.
category.
This category
yeah, this is it.
It's serious. So you got to just go with your gut. Don't second guess it.
Well, my gut is telling me something very different from what you guys are telling me. I'm just going to look at the set list one more time here before I decide here. Yeah, I'm going with my gut.
Do it.
I am going to move us forward to the summer of 1999. I'm going to take a show that was played the second of two nights at Great Woods in the summer of 99 on a Tuesday. They played a Monday, Tuesday run. If anyone thought that the Fish organization had their tour routing all, down to a science in the late 90s, they played a 2-night run on a Monday, Tuesday. A very, very strange thing. That's the kind of thing that Goose would do today. I'm going to go with 7/13/1999.
Ooh.
This show has one of my favorite first quarters in Fish history. NICU, The Curtain into Haley's, which jams and segues into Roses Are Free, which jams into NO2, which is the first NO2 since July 16th, 1994. First in 357 shows. And this is the first known time that NO2 included the instrumental ending originally included on the white tape. So you're just in like weird territory. Just very, very Brian Brinkman shit. Like I am here for like, what the hell is going on right now? What are they playing? Oh my God. How did they figure this one out? It's kind of like when they played In So to Bed. And then you get a Reba into Carini. What the fuck? And then the second set is just all killer, no filler. Wolfman's into Piper, Bug into Mountains in the Mist. Okay, you could argue with me that like two ballads back to back in the middle of a set is some filler. I will take your argument. I will just say I love both those songs. I think they fit the mood here really nicely. Run Like an Antelope, Possum with Scott Morosky on guitar. And then Scott Morosky comes back out for the encore. The only time that they have ever played Tuesday's Gone. Amazing cover. I absolutely loved this. Just like it drenches of mid 70s bearded male ennui. I'm here for it. Like, give it to me. Give it to me.
Oh my.
Maybe a left field pick. I may be
Mhm.
completely shooting myself here in the foot here with my approach to this draft so far. But you know what? Again, I'm gonna be me. I'm gonna take what I think is right. So 7-13-99. Meg,
I
it's
love
back
it.
to you.
I thought you were going to pick the night before because I have such a weakness for the show because of the foreplay long time opener. I just feel like that's the sickest way to open a show ever, and I can't even imagine what that was like in the moment.
First
Um,
show's back at Great Woods in 4
right?
years. Like first
Like,
foreplay long time.
oh
That's a great moment. You're absolutely right.
God, that moment just like whenever I hear it on tape, I just like it just melts. I just melt. Um, I'm been thinking about this. I'm going to Deer Creek. Deer Creek, my first outdoor fish show ever, but I'm not going to pick that show, although that was my number third pick, but I'm not going to pick that show. I'm putting nostalgia aside because on my list, I have to have August 6th, 2021, Deer Creek on my list. I need to have this simple. I need to have this blaze on. I also just think the show in general has just incredible connected playing throughout. Carini, Wolfman, Sand, incredible. Also, a Sanity Encore. Just this show, I'll never forget webcasting the show. And every time I webcast a show from Deer Creek, I'm always sad I'm not there. And this show killed me not to be there.
Yeah, this is a special show. I admire you for not going nostalgic, and this is when I was looking at the Deer Creek list. This is the first great Deer Creek show in 18 years.
100%. You know, it's a little weird. I will say this category, not as stacked as I expected it to be.
It's very
I'm
strange.
telling
It's
you,
deceiving.
it's deceiving because some of the shows there have been so good. There's not as many unbelievable shows. I mean, I guess it's a little bit hard to compare like upstate New York or even St. Louis. I don't know, but Deer Creek definitely wasn't as deep as I expected it to be.
Can I pose a theory?
Mhm.
There were some great shows at Deer Creek in the late 90s when a lot of people were getting into fish and were seeing their first big fish shows, which coincided with the band playing really well. And as a result, we've heard for 25-ish years that it's the greatest venue ever. When really, post 2003, aside from 2021, not a lot of good stuff at Deer Creek. Not a lot of
I
good stuff.
know.
It's really that like late 90s propaganda that we
Yeah.
get in covering fish, which is why people were upset that we had 3.0 tours. 3.0 tours, my God, in our larger list. Not to mention 4.0 tours. Deer Creek is one of those venues that like everyone's like, oh, they always play great shows. I don't know about it.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
found a real gem here.
Thanks.
It's a good pick.
It's a really good one. It's a really good one.
Thank you.
That Blaze On is my favorite jam of the entirety of 2021. There is
So
just
good.
when Trey
then
just
they
starts
go to
hitting
piece.
those chords at like 16 minutes and like Paige is on the
Ugh.
organ and Fishman is just, I'm just like, it's the only way I
It's
can
so
describe
dramatic.
it. Just crazy noises.
This is going to be so fun.
What you got?
Where are
Well,
you going?
well, I think the first thing I'm going to do is I was going to go with a Deer Creek. I was going to go with my first show at Deer Creek, which is a great show. People love it.
Outstanding show.
Everyone loves it. But alas, I don't think I should do that because I think there are better shows for the purposes of this strategy. So I think I'm gonna just have to do it, Brian. I'm sorry to do it, but you've had your chances. You've gone through a couple times. You have not taken it. So I'm taking 725.99 right now because someone has to do it. And you know what?
Someone's got to do it.
We've all been friendly, the whole time, but we gotta move on here, guys. So that's what I'm doing.
So my heart breaks, but I have said so much about this show over the years to the point that people are like, is it really that great of a show? Are you just like blowing smoke here? So RJ, I want to give you the next 10 minutes to defend this show and what you love about this show. Just song by
Okay.
song, point by point.
All right. So first of all, it's probably I don't know if it's the most partying show of all time, but it's pretty close.
Yeah.
It's like I mean, you just starting with like the Makasupa happy birthday, and like the Makasupa with the, just talking about drugs and happy birthday. I mean,
Talking about
the
drugs.
Rasta style happy birthday, just talking about smoking weed so much. Like all that they were just talking about doing drugs. And by the way, if you were doing drugs in the parking lot of Deer Creek, you were probably going to get arrested. So they were not they were not in the parking lot doing this. They were somewhere else. But I mean,
So true.
you get this birds of a feather, walk away, antelope in to start off the second set. That's just amazing. I mean, it's really a perfect show, but also kind of encapsulates the silliness and the real late 90s like party vibe that they had. I mean, it's fun. Like it's super fun start to finish, and it's a travesty that it is not an official release.
Travesty.
For the first time in my life, we're talking about 725.99, and I have nothing to say because RJ just said it all. That was it. Kevin Shapiro, what are we doing?
What are we doing?
What are we doing?
What are we doing?
We need more 99 releases.
There's
Start with
probably
this one.
so many sounds I haven't even heard on this tape that would make me love this show even more. Like, come on.
Right? Can you imagine?
And we got one time for the from the archives from Curveball. He still played them even after the festival was canceled. It was a very somber moment, but he debuted the Meet My Friend into My Left Toe, cut it off before the whipping post, which was pretty egregious. But at least we got that transition from my friend into an amazing, my favorite, My Left Toe. Yeah, this show, man. Whew. Good pick,
So,
RJ. That's a
thanks.
good pick.
Well,
That's a
I
good
good
pick.
pick.
I really truly could never have done it if it wasn't for you. Okay. I think for my second one, this is kind of going off the strategy, but I'm going to do it anyway. This is a nostalgia pick, but I shared my list I have a list of 19 jams that are my favorite 19 Fish jams of all time. And this one is currently at number 6. So I got to just do it, which is 7/29/98 from Riverport, Missouri.
Yeah.
I mean, this bathtub gin it's a legendary. It's up there. It's up there with the top Fish jams of all time, and that alone I think makes it into a show worth drafting. Also, there's a good second set too, but it's really all about this one jam that we've probably talked about many times on this program.
Yeah, and I think your nostalgia pick lines up with definitely my first pick for this category. So I think your nostalgia is aligning with greatness.
It's good when that happens.
Yeah, right?
It is, man. They're so in the pocket. Like,
yeah,
15, 16, 17 minutes into that gin. It's just shocking that these dudes from Vermont who started playing prog rock and had joke songs figured out a way to put in the work to be this much in the pocket in the jam. Like, what the fuck?
In the first song of the show.
Like it's just insane that they got to this point in their career.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. And then they jam out Buried Alive to open the second set too.
I know.
It's like, what?
Yeah.
It's so, they've got the tube is unbelievable. The debut of If You Need a Fool, the new Vultures arrangement, Fish on Vacuum. This show is epic.
I really like If You Need a Fool. I'd like to see that return. That's just a fun little 2-minute bluegrass love song. It's good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great pick. You can pick it just based on one song, but it's also, like you said, it's a really good show after that. It's a wild show after that. Awesome stuff.
It's great. It's great.
Such a good pick.
We're going to talk about this tour, I bet, again.
Yeah.
At some point. What a tone from Trey. My God.
Yeah.
They call it flyover country, but like Missouri has you got some stuff to be proud of. Okay.
killer fish
Thank
shows.
God.
You're
Thank
not just the
God.
name of a compromise that is, we seek to move beyond. But my goodness,
I
what
just want to
fish?
say thank you to Fish for at least putting this bathtub gin out as a filler on the 7/15/98 show, which
Filler.
is fine show. 7/15/98 is fine. The whole California Love thing, fine. But they should just release this show because what are we doing?
There are a few of those shows from the original Live Fish 20 that were released, 7/15/98 being one of them, where you look back on it now and you're like, really? Like, that's what we picked? Like, the Gorge was sitting right out here. Shoreline was sitting right out here. Alpine, Deer Creek 98 were sitting right out here. Vernon Downs. Some of these have been released since they've made right, but like, really? But then they put that bathtub gin on it, and it was like, oh my God, this made everything worth it.
Exactly.
Good stuff. All right, so to update everyone on where we're at as we make the turn into, what are we, like round 5? I don't know.
I've lost
We're
count.
deep in this. RJ has 7/195, 7/29/98, 7/25/99. Big Cypress. I love how he picked Big Cypress, the very first pick, and nobody's gone back to the festivals because you can't go wrong. But
That
also,
was-
Big Cypress was the right pick.
It was
That
the pick.
That
It
was
was
it.
the pick.
That was it.
Mhm.
And 8/31/12. That is we're getting some 27 Yankees murderers row here right now from RJ. This is amazing stuff. Megan's got 7/8/94. Game Henge Great Woods, 7/14/19, 8/6/21, and 9/6/15. Megan is saying, I hear your critiques of 3.0, 4.0 fish, and I tell you all to fuck yourselves.
Hell yeah.
Really, really just
Yep.
pushing it hard right
It's true.
now with the 3.0, 4.0 love. Gotta respect it. Amazing picks here, Meg. I love this. And then I've got 7/13/99, 6/30, 2000, 11/19, 96, and 12/6/97. We may, aside from 12/6/97, we may not be the popular pick here, but we're hanging out in the basement. We're passing around a little plate with a joint on it. We got the lava lamps going. We've got low lighting down here. We're hanging out. It's a bunch of dudes, maybe like 1 or 2 girls who are hanging out with us who like good music, and we're
Sick
just
list of
kicking
shows,
it.
Brian.
It's
Sick
all right. It
list.
works. It
It's
works.
really cool.
I'm happy with it. I'm
Yeah, it's
happy with
really
it. Whether
good.
or not the community is happy with it, we'll see.
We'll see.
Megan, I believe that you're up now with your 5th pick.
Awesome. Well, I feel like there's been a lot of pushback on Shapiro and what's been happening with Fish, and I want to stay with their live releases. And I want to go to Bethel, that category, and talk about a show that I think they did right. Released as Live Fish Volume 1, 12/14/95, Broome County from Binghamton.
God damn
I love
it.
this show. This is the pick from this category in my mind. Towards the end of what some might say is the best fish tour of all time. We'll see. Fall 1995. First set, got a killer foam. You got that amazing silent jam inside of Split Open and Melt. The taste that surrounds something that only happened in fall of 95. Got the chess move to start set 2. And the entire set 2 is just perfect. Tweezer, Slipknot teases into Timber, back into Tweezer. The final Keyboard Army, a song I heard like 45 times on that fall tour when I was on seeing shows. First jammed out Haley's ever. NICU with a Page solo. Slave, perfect power and grace to close the set. This is a must-have show. I had to have it on my list. I'm actually surprised I got it.
This is a outstanding show.
I was gonna pick this next, and I was just hoping that we could, because it's kind of down in the list, like that's you guys would like forget about it somehow. But
Yes.
there's nothing to say. It's Live Fish 1 for a reason.
Exactly.
Can I reveal something about this?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I was reviewing our list of shows last evening in anticipation, just to make sure we didn't forget anything and to make my own kind of power rankings list for myself going into this. And as I was going through upstate New York, I realized there was no 12, 14, 95. And I was like, what the hell was my rationale here? Now, in
It
my
wasn't on
defense,
there?
there's like 65 frickin' shows from upstate New York on here.
Yeah, I know. I went through them.
And when you click on New York on fish.net to sort by state to try to
Yeah.
organize this, it is nearly impossible to you can't see the site
So
ends
big.
after like 35 shows, and they're mostly MSG shows. So I had to go through city by city and then
Oh, that
click in there.
sucks. That
It was a
sucks.
long process. And so somehow I forgot this show. So
Wow.
we could have gone into this recording here with this show not being on the list, which would have been user error, my mistake entirely. But I'm so glad it's there because you picked it. It's the right show. That Haley's NICU into Slave is some of my favorite fish that's ever been made.
Yep.
Just locked
Amazing.
in, full of ideas. Yes, and everything. Come on.
Perfect. Wait, so when did you add it to the list?
Last night.
So I was searching on my own. Like I was only using your list occasionally to check if I'd missed something, but I have
I
a
don't know.
strategy about how I find what shows I want, but I didn't even realize it wasn't on there until
Yeah,
like
I
I
know,
had
it's
put
crazy.
this before last night.
It would have counted because, like, of course, I couldn't believe that it
That's
wasn't
so funny.
on. That was a good pick. That was a good
Thank
pick.
you.
That is not one of those shows on the original 20 live fish categories where you go, really?
Yeah,
That was one of those like,
exactly.
oh my God.
Yep.
You're like,
Oh my
yes,
God.
right call.
All right. So if I've done anything, I think correctly in this series or in this episode here today, I think I have a good final 5 categories to pick from. I know what my strategy is right now. It's all coming clear to me right now. I am going to start because I have 2 picks, and I'm going to do a very classic Midwestern pairing here. The classicest, the most classic. There's never been a more classic Midwest pairing than Alpine Deer Creek or Deer Creek Alpine, whichever way you see it. I'm going to go Alpine Deer Creek. I'm going to start with Alpine. I was between 2 shows, but let's be honest, there's one that just like really speaks to me, speaks to my heart. It's got one of my favorite versions of Tweezer that has ever been played. It is August 1st, 1998 from Alpine Valley Music Theater. The only night they played Alpine on the Summer 98 tour. They would not start 2-night runs at Alpine until 2003. Can you believe that? That's so crazy.
That's crazy.
We just hit it
Yeah.
once.
I don't think I realized that. Wow.
It's so massive that I think that they had I don't think they could fully
Yeah.
sell it out on 2 nights. But this show, man, this was released in the summer of 2020, June 2020 on Live Fish. One of those shows that we've always needed, and we finally got it. Set 1, you've got a Ramble On, Mike Song, Esther, Weekapog, opening first quarter. My God, what a way to start it out. Paige just crushing it on the vocals. The band just absolutely nailing it. They would then play Ramble On again 12 nights later in an amazing performance in upstate New York ahead of the Lemon Wheel. The second set is a bit of like a set listing mess. And I don't say that negatively. Like it shouldn't work as well as it does, but it ends up working in a really cool way. Piper, Wilson, 2001, Magia, 2001. Like that's a weird way to start a second set, especially in 98 when like usually they'd start with like a big jam, but it works. I love it. And then you get this Tweezer. Holy crap. Like it is so quiet and melodic and contemplative. Dave and I used this in episode 5 of Beyond the Pond, and we spun it out into an episode on Dad Rock because this is like a very dad rock fish jam. I love it. Brian and Robert, Albuquerque, and then Been Caught Stealing debut performance in the encore. 2 debuts of 2 covers that really kind of kick off the month of covers at that point in time. They'd been playing a few throughout, but this is really when it like ups the ante on the tour. Amazing stuff. RJ, were you at this show?
I was not. I was only at 97.
That was it. And then
Yeah,
2022.
and then 2022. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yep.
Wow, I've never seen a show there.
Yeah, we got to do it.
It is very hard to get to.
Yeah.
So much so that when we were leaving the last run, my friend said to me, I don't know if I ever need to do that again.
I'm good. I'm
Yeah.
good.
You have to stay in a
Yeah.
hotel like 35 minutes away
Yeah,
by the
that's
lake
rough.
and then drive in. The cops are a little bit crazy, but Alpine is where I saw Tab for the first time in summer 2001, which ushered me into the fish world. It's a very special place for me. I love it. I would happily go back there with you guys. And I love
But
the
do
show.
it.
Brian,
But
there's
RJ.
one thing you didn't mention about going to Alpine, which is that you can go to Culver's after and get a butter burger, and that
What?
is
It's a
kind of
butter
makes
burger.
yeah
It's a
Yeah.
burger cooked in butter.
yeah, and it's
Yes,
so
please.
good,
I'd like that.
so good.
Culver's
Really.
at 12:30 in the morning, following a
Oh,
fish show at Alpine
fuck
is
yeah.
that's it. That's it right there. Those cheese curds, my God. Culver's overrated is an opinion. That is
Wow.
that is an interesting take.
Interesting take.
Mr. Brian Weinstein, that is an
Wow.
interesting take. And the rarest of tunes, Incredible Perp reminds us, Ficus. Yes, that was played at 8198.
Yeah,
Bring
nice.
that back, guys. Come on. Can we do a Ficus instead of like a Yarmouth Road? I don't know. I'm just asking. All right. My next pick is going to come from Deer Creek. It is $725.99. Oh, wait, what?
Nice try.
Good try.
All right. I have one show left in terms of what I selected here for the Deer Creek runs. I'm just going to go with it because it feels right. I think I have enough to say about it. And that is, just checking the set list. That is the right pick. Can't hurt RJ because he's already hurt me. We're going
Yeah.
Oh my
8,
God.
10, 97. We're closing out the Deer Creek category here. So 8, 10, 97. RJ, you were at this show.
Yeah.
Why don't you talk about this show?
Well, I actually, probably said this on the show before, but I came away from the show not liking it as much as everyone else did. And that's partially because at this point in the summer 97 tour, things were so weird and slow and like that. It just, everything was like, just the sound was so strange. And it really like threw me for a loop, having listened to Fish up to that point. And this is my first summer shows, seeing these 97 shows. I'll never forget it because it was a legendary place to be, and an amazing night of music. But I think I came away from it being like, wow, that was like really slow and hot and kind of plotting at times. But I think listening back, it's much better than I probably gave it credit for in the moment. I'll admit it. I was wrong.
Well, I don't know if you're wrong. I don't think that this is a very good show to play in front of 15,000 people.
right.
Like this is.
I definitely didn't
Yeah.
get it. I definitely didn't get it at the time. I mean, I was like 18. I was on my first summer trip
Yeah.
after graduating from high school, and I was like, I didn't get it. It made me feel strange.
I could imagine. I mean, there's like a 17-minute intro to David Bowie deep in the show after you've already had just like space and noise and weirdness in the band around stage. This is the Piston in the Ears Their Listeners review show.
Yeah. Oh, right. It is.
Yeah, I
Mark Allen.
forgot about that. That's so funny.
Which,
it is.
to be
They
fair,
kind of were
like
doing that.
they were like, had he seen pretty
Yeah.
much any other show around here, like the next night is not lauded and not very well remembered, but is like would just kind of be a good show to review if you're just a rock critic jumping into Fish Tour.
Yeah.
But yeah, this show kind of signifies to me where the band was at in summer 97 when they were trying to push the envelope as far as possible and just see what they could get away with. They are a week away from the Great Went at this point in time, so they know that they're going into a remote part of America to play this festival. They know the festival thing worked the year before, but now they've got this new musical idea to bring to the table, and they're just trying to see like how weird can we get while still retaining this audience. And that weirdness, that challenge, that risk taking, that is Fish for me. So that is this show.
Yeah, it's weird that summer tour. I feel like it starts off with such a different energy than it
Yeah,
is by the time it's August. I think of the first 3 shows I saw of that summer tour, the opening shows, and they were just wildly energetic. It's just so interesting how it changed.
totally. They totally did. Like by the end of it, they are just like in the soup and just we don't care that we're
Yeah.
supposed to pay. Like people are
Yeah,
still showing up, so we're gonna play the way we want to play.
right.
Yep. Yep.
All right,
All right.
Megan, what do we got?
Okay, well, I'm going to my hometown.
God damn
I'm
it.
just
Don't do it,
so
Megan.
excited
Don't do
that
it.
they're playing this year. They're playing 2 nights
Not
in the
do
middle
it,
of the
Megan.
week, and this is gonna be a sleeper show this year, particularly the second night when RJ and I are together at this show. They've only played Grand Rapids 4 times historically, and not since
Megan, I already have a speech
1998.
prepared for this show.
Great, you can tell it after I pick it because I am choosing 11/11/98 from Van Andel Arena from my hometown of Grand Rapids, Michigan. And I'm so glad I got this show because I am choosing it over sentimentality. This is the second time in this draft that I've chosen not to be nostalgic and sentimental because I'm going for the win and I'm picking this
Noted
show.
for the record.
Yeah, note that down. This is an archival release. This is the last time they played in Grand Rapids. RJ, why don't you talk about it since you have a speech planned?
Well,
And I'm sorry you didn't get it.
I've talked about my famous list of 19 jams. This has number 7 on the list. I already had
Wow,
number
7.
6 with 729.98. Let's go in here next to start, collecting my favorite jams. But the Haley's comment from
Sorry.
this is just phenomenal. I mean, it really is. It's pretty similar, I think, to that Bathtub Gin from Riverport in that it never slows down. It's super fast, and then it does kind of segues into simple that in a slightly weird way, but it just, man, this show is something else. And then at the end of that set is this Ghost that is another great fall 98 groove. It's a really good show, and I should have gone to the show, but I didn't for some reason.
Oh, that's weird. Yeah, I love the show. So many good type 1 jams in the first set in Gumbos, Birds, and Theme. And then, yeah, you've got this ridiculous Haley's to open set 2. Really good limb by limb. And I love this Ghost. I just listened to it again yesterday and just super cool. And a great 3-song encore at the end, too.
This gumbo is the argument number 1 of why we need more 98, 99, 2000 shows on Soundboard. Because I remember listening to the show on tape
Yes.
and being like, yeah, it's a good gumbo. Nice 11, 12 minutes early in the show. And then you listen on Soundboard and there's so much happening below the surface. There's so many layers. And it's just like, we have to hear that to fully get this period. This is
Yes.
like, this is like when you get a really good record remastered and you realize, oh my God, there were like 20 more tracks on that, like below the surface here that this band was playing around with. Holy crap, I hear this now in a completely different way. You get that on these types of late 90s shows, and this one is it. RJ, I just want to say you had your chance multiple times and you passed it up.
You really did.
Yeah, I mean,
This one's on you.
Oh, of course. I mean, we've all had our chances to do all this, and that's what we have to live with. To live with our choices. All right. Well, okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do here, it's my turn, right?
I think so. Brian, whose turn is it?
It's RJ's turn. He's got two choices or two.
Okay,
Two.
Wow, we
two
must be getting
picks.
down to the end here, huh?
We're getting there.
The first thing I'm gonna do is what I think is maybe the best improvisational music of 2004, which is, I think, a horrendous year of Fish to listen to. But the 6/26/04 Alpine show,
yeah, baby,
the Boogie On it's probably the best playing of this year. I think that second set, Boogie On into a Ghost.
Mm-hmm.
There's a big free ending with Hood and Piper. It's a good show. don't get sad when I listen to it, which is different than all the other 04 shows. So I gotta like, I think that's a good show. Okay,
I
so I'm gonna
think
do that.
That's
Yeah,
a
What do you think
great
about that,
pick,
Brian?
RJ.
Mhm.
That's a great pick.
Thanks.
Oh my
Brian.
God. Well
Thanks,
fucking
Brian.
done. The fact that we got RJ to pick a summer 2004 show,
2004.
this is the greatest day of my life. Oh my
And he
God.
had
It
to do
really is
something.
hilarious.
We're closing out the Alpine section here. 626.04, 714.19, 81.98. That's a pretty good representation of fish at Alpine Valley over the last 25 years.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of spread out.
I just remember
All right.
when that show came out on Live Fish, texting with friends, like, because there were all these rumors that they had walked off the stage on SPAC Night 2, and Mike turned to Trey and said, "Why are we breaking up again?" And I remember listening to this show and being like there were all these rumors suddenly on Fantasy Tour that they were actually gonna, like, just kidding, we figured it out, everything's good. And no, it wouldn't last. But this was the last high point of fish before
Yeah.
the end.
Yeah, I agree.
Incredible Perp asked if my top 20 gems are listed somewhere. I do have a list. I'm happy to share it so that everyone can ridicule what's missing from the list. That's sort of like, it's part of my
You know what's
career
hilarious
as
to
a
me about it
podcaster.
is that it's 19 and not 20. Like, doesn't that kind of bother you that it just is a weird
No,
number?
like it'll
Okay.
probably be like 22 eventually. You know, I kind of like,
You
I
just
did it
grow
recently. I did it like earlier this year, and then I
Yeah.
added a couple things.
You're
Um,
adhering to what is needed and not to form. I like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Speaking of Alpine Valley and people
yep.
telling RJ that he's wrong, I just want to note that the last time he was at Alpine Valley was August 12th, 2022. And they played a respectable version of David Bowie, which is about what you can hope for today. And RJ, in a move that I thought was really thoughtful, sobering, analytical, and honest, tweeted, "That was probably the best David Bowie I've ever seen." And the internet didn't like that.
No.
Oh
Because
God, that
RJ
was
saw Fish.
crazy. That was crazy.
RJ saw Fish in the late 90s, and he hosts the Helping Friendly podcast, and he runs Osiris Media. And he's an important person who should understand
better.
that when you say things like "that was the best David Bowie I've ever seen," you mean it. But when we looked at the stats, we all realized that was the best David Bowie RJ has seen since
I
at
know, that's
least
what I'm saying.
the
Yes,
mid-90s,
you
which
were
was the point he
right.
was making.
The best was the defense of how you like put your stats up. You were like, "No, these are the ones I have seen."
This is
And
what
it
I've
was
seen.
it was true, but it was just so funny because people don't read the full tweet. They just
No.
read like, "This is the best David Bowie," and they're like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I said that I've seen, and then we looked. The one you just mentioned, 81097, maybe is like up there. There's a couple that are like, sure, like it was the late 90s, like sure, great David Bowie, but like I haven't seen that many good David Bowies, despite it being
Which was the
an important
which was
song
the
for me.
point you were making, which is
Yeah.
a good point
Yeah.
to make. Like,
You know,
hey,
the
look,
best
I
David
haven't seen
Bowie.
a lot of.
Yeah. Sorry,
I've
Brian.
seen
I was just go ahead,
Go
RJ.
ahead. No, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say the best David Bowie I've ever seen was on my first show in 1994, 11/14, and that was the
That's a
best one
very
I've
good
ever
one.
seen, and I don't know if I'll ever see a better one. So I'm with
I
you.
have never seen a good David Bowie.
I will
See?
say
There
that
you go.
according to my stats, I've seen 30 versions. So like maybe that was a little bit of a, maybe I was getting ahead of myself, but
I don't
I
think
still will
so.
defend it. I'll still defend
You
it.
understand how to work the internet. You get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on.
I
All right,
did
so
get in
you have
trouble
one
for
more.
that.
You
Yep.
did. You have one more pick here before we
Yep.
we go into the home stretch.
Okay. So I kind of want to do something nostalgic here because you both stole the kind of the only good Michigan shows, really, but there's some other stuff in there, I guess. But
I think there's one more.
you think there's one more good one?
I think there's one more that I would pick.
Yeah. I haven't picked a single 3.0, I mean 3 or 4.0 yet. But you know what? Just because I want to do this, I'm gonna do it. So I'm gonna take 8/12/93 from the Meadowbrook Music
Ooh.
Festival in Rochester Hills, Michigan, and I'll tell you why.
I love this.
Well, the tape cover is still right there. It's
Yes.
one of the first tapes I ever got because I was from the area, and this is like a tape that circulated. I probably got it in '94. The old intro to AC/DC Bag to open up the first set is so iconic to me. Like hearing that
Yeah.
little, riff at the beginning. There's a little bit of a jam on AC/DC Bag, and then there's a really, really good Reba second song, first set, and then there's a bunch of other fine stuff, but there's a really good Tweezer Landlady Tweezer in the second set that is very good also. But mostly I'm going to choose this because it's one of my first tapes I ever got. Reba has a
Yeah.
Dave's Energy Guys tease. There's all kinds of interesting stuff here, and I will never not love this show.
Such a good show. You've got a great split open and mount and just like perfect 93 fish, I think. I mean, it has a big ball jam, but we can get past that. That was like the vibe then, right? Lots of signals. It was fun.
You really can't go wrong with August 93, and I'm really glad you selected
Yeah.
a show from here to represent, because this is kind of the first summer tour. Like they'd toured during the summer before, but this is the first like
Oh, yeah.
amphitheaters were out in the world, like really trying to push a month and a half long tour here, and you get the whole country involved. And then this show coming right on the heat, or right ahead of the Marat show, right ahead of the Tinley Park show. This is awesome stuff. Killer fish.
I don't think it's like the best show, but I think my overall picks are gonna look a little bit weaker with this on the board, but I'm not gonna regret it. No regrets.
No regrets.
The people that really know how to listen will do a good job of understanding what you were going for here. So we just closed out our fourth category, Michigan, with August 1293, 11/11/98, and 12/6/97. You give someone those three shows, and their immediate thought is, wow, when Fish plays Michigan, they're like the greatest band ever. That would be a little deceiving, but I think we gave people some high highs of Michigan.
Yeah, and got people ready for the sleeper shows in Grand Rapids this year.
That's it. That's the vibe. All right. So to give you guys an update as we come around I think our last turn. No, second to last turn. We'll have one more. RJ has 7/1/95, 6/26/04, 7/29/98, 7/25/99, 8/12/93, Big Cypress, and 8/31/12. That is a lineup.
Pretty
RJ's
sick.
looking good right now. Yeah, I feel like RJ's strategy, or maybe it's just the fact that he went first. I don't know. Who knows?
Maybe.
Megan has 7/8/94, 7/14/19, 8/6/21, 11/11/98, 12/14/95, and 9/6/15. Some extremely strong showings there. And then I've got 7/13/99, 6/30/2000, 8/1/98, 11/19/96, 8/10/97, 12/6/97. If you don't like it, I don't have to hear about it because I'm not on social media. So you're gonna have to tell RJ and Megan.
All
and I'll pass it
1.0,
on.
Brian. Wow. All 1.0. This
It's a
is
good-
unlike.
That's a good point. I gotta change that. Thank you, Megan.
Wow. All 1.0.
I'm just setting a
Not
good
used
foundation.
From you. Yeah. Yeah.
Not
I
used
mean,
to.
sick list. But
Brian Weird Shit 3.0.
I know. Where
activist
are you?
Sprinkler. Megan, you are up. You've got
Okay.
your sixth pick.
Great.
Seventh
So
pick.
I am going to go to Connecticut, and I'm torn between two shows. But looking at my list, I feel like I don't have enough 1.0. And how can I not have a 97 show on my list? So I'm going to go November 26th, 97 from Hartford. Just, sick funk tweezer opener, jammed out gumbo, gorgeous, super inspired. Paige is incredible in this McGrupp. Incredibly peaking taste to end set one. Got jammed out character 0 into 2001. We've got that groovy outro on Cities. This is the only time they play this song on this tour. And a shredding, just absolutely soaring Caspian. I think this show's a little underrated in the shadow of the Worcester run, and I really like this show.
The show rules.
Yeah.
Second set is all just flow.
Mm-hmm.
I remember getting we'll talk about this again if Fall 97 made it to the top 25 tours. I'm not sure if it did, but if it did, we will talk about this, because I got to say, like, I was getting these tapes, a week or 2 weeks. It's the tapes started coming in faster in
Yeah.
'97, and the Tweezer opener, I remember putting it on and just being like, "Fuck, this
What?
tour will not stop." It's really, really,
Exactly.
truly amazing, and the character Zero jammed out. I mean, really amazing show, really great show, and I think it is slightly overshadowed. You're right, Megan.
Yeah.
I think when we did our fall '97 series, I think this was probably one of the ones that was like, yeah, a little bit surprising to people.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many good shows on this tour.
Yeah.
How it makes sense, but
Yeah, good pick.
thanks.
That's a great pick. All right, I'm torn.
Which categories? What do you still have left? Let me see.
So I have upstate New York, festivals, and dicks. What do I want to do here, guys? Do I want to keep going my gut, or do I want to try to make a pick that? You know what? I'm gonna go a little bit off the road here,
Mm.
and I'm gonna keep going with 1.0, which not usually my vibe. You know, I love 1.0 Fish, but I do think that Fish as a band has continued to improve and plays really fascinating music nowadays. But I'm going to go with Upstate New York. I'm going to go with a show that to me signifies Fish in the mid 90s in the summer, where you could show up in a random small town like a freaking carnival band and they would blow your feeble brain apart. And this is towards the end of, some may say, one of the best tours the band has ever played. We will see. This is Big Birch, 7/13, 1994 from Patterson, New York. They've played at this venue 2 times. Once to open up for Santana in 1992, and then another time in 1994 when they came back to headline. If you ask if anyone were to ask you like what did 1994 Fish feel like, I would just put the second set on, because they do things like they play the song Wilson to the tune of Cavern. Trey has Woody Woodpecker themes in Tweezer, as well as I Wish and I Know a Little themes. Big Black Furry Creature from Mars is unfinished and is played bluegrass style to the tune of Scent of a Mule. Trey teases Slave to the Traffic Light throughout Susie Greenberg. There's a Julius thrown into a Tweezer fest in a way that like somehow really works. And if that's not enough, the first set is just like as classic Summer 94 Fish as you could possibly get. Buried Alive, Poor Hearts, Sample, Foam, Mango, Down Disease, Fee, Ice, Fast Enough for You, I Didn't Know, and a killer Split Open and Melt to end the first set. This show rules. It sounds insane. It sounds like really good drugs in the best way possible, but also sounds like completely focused and determined musicianship. I am here for it. I love it. Were either of you guys at this show? You guys were the 94. RJ, this is before your time. Meg, were you at this show?
Can I just say quickly, Megan?
Yeah.
Just Reprise just covered this show in Woodstock last month.
Yes.
And we're going to be releasing some videos that we took we're mixing with the soundboard audio, and they did a great job. No, I was not there.
It is a testament to everything that you have helped organize with Reprise and those musicians that they had the balls to cover this show.
Totally. I mean,
like, what the hell?
Talk about ambitious.
Unbelievable.
I mean, covering 94 Fish is ambitious in itself, but a show like this, just with so many twists and turns, and like Brian was saying, just a million teases and a million quotes. It's the speed, the dexterity. It's unbelievable. And it definitely speaks to the level of musicianship in Reprise. I mean, that band is incredible. Yeah, I wasn't at this show, but I had the tape. Big Birch is just like a phrase in my mind that will always mean this show to me. I remember hearing it a lot and playing it a lot. And I thought the show was so fun. And to me, really encapsulated what I loved about Fish in 94 is that they were fun and playful. And they were not really old and almost dying, which is like my favorite band at the time was. And so when I heard this show for the first time, I was like, yes, like I want that energy. I want that vitality, that humor, that playfulness. And this show is a perfect example of that.
It is zany Fish to the extreme.
Yeah.
Awesome stuff. All right, I got another pick here. I know what I'm going to do. I'm not even questioning it.
Do it.
We're going to Perfection in Limestone, Maine. The last time Fish was in Limestone, Maine.
Wow.
Okay.
We're going to It. We talked about this recently. I think that August 2nd, 2003 is in a small group of perfect Fish shows. On paper, you may be like, huh? Like there are a few dead zones, but like everything is played so well, and the band has no place else to be, and they just dive in. Yamar, the Reba, the Birds, even the Meat Stick, the Limb by Limb. Set 2 is just like middle-age crisis Fish at its best. Disease, NICU, Brother, Lawn Boy. The Discern Waves David Bowie segment is perfection. You get this amazing segue fest to open up the third set. Rock and Roll, Seven Below, Sense and Subtle Sounds, Seven Below. Even Spread It Round. Like, my God, the ending jam on that is insane before it goes into Bug. A Dog Log Mango Song Rarity Encore. And then you get the Tower Jam in the middle of the night. And then the third show, or August 3rd, you got a killer 25-minute Chalk Dust in set 1. The anger and frustration at Fish is ratcheted up when Trey says that Mike told him that we can't play Fluffhead, which would spill over for the following 12 months as the band disintegrated. This is like this is the end. Like I said, June 2004, but like this is it. This is when like all hope was that Fish could keep going in 2.0 and that there was nothing. And then this sort of stuff started happening. But you get this amazing second set with Ghost, 30 minutes, Mountains in the Mist, You Enjoy Myself. Gigantic 40-minute, 46 days to open up the third set because the band just couldn't stop jamming. I love this. I love it so much. I listen to this every year on the anniversary because it is some of my favorite sounding Fish ever. Trey wore a freaking blazer. He knew how serious this was. He wore a blazer. So we're moving into 2.0 for me. Saying goodbye to 1.0. We've got It.
You had to have some 2.0 on there. It just wouldn't have been right if you didn't.
Had to.
Just wouldn't have made sense.
I've already said everything I could say about It a couple weeks ago, including that I think the 46 days is kind of boring, and there's some really, really good shit at it.
You just have a 46 days bias. It's weird.
Except for that one from Merriweather from a few years ago, or whatever, 10 years ago now.
Yeah.
I love how RJ is like, good pick. Here's what I'm going to shit on it with.
Exactly.
And just because it's just another bad take, like that people can give me shit about. That's what I'm here for. Just providing you all with content.
It is the most indie rock Fish has ever sounded, and I'm leaning into that with these picks here. Megan, what do you got? You have 2 picks left, and you're down to Missouri and festivals.
Yeah, well, I'm going to go to Missouri because I'm kind of sad about the festival category, but it's going to be fine.
You know what, Megan? Sorry to interrupt, but you know what? I just realized you and I are in the same situation, and maybe Brian is too, which is that we don't have anyone else picking from our remaining categories. So there's no like strategery left. Like you just
yeah,
like
exactly.
you got it's all there for you. The world is your oyster.
I just need to make sure that for some reason I don't have somebody else's. Oh, I think I'm like, why don't I have somebody's picked off in Missouri? Oh, right. Now I see why, because Brian's wasn't even on my list. Got it. Okay.
a nice burn late in the show.
No, I actually didn't mean it to be, just came out. But I was concerned. I was like, why don't I have this? I'm actually a little bit torn because I think there's two really kind of awesome classic Fish shows played in 93 and 94 in at St. Louis and at the University of Missouri. So I'm trying to decide between those two. I think I'm going to go with 8/16/93 from St. Louis, from the American Theater.
Great pick.
Part of the St. Louis 93 box set, you've got an Axilla opener, Axilla, I don't know why I said it like that, Axilla opener, and then a really exploratory possum is the second song. But this Reba, it's just gorgeous. It's such a beautiful version in an important month for the song. Got an incredible improvised foam and split open and melt. And that's just in the first set. And in the second set, you've got Mike's Crossroads like jam, fought in the middle of this Mike's groove. Weekapog gets out there with a bunch of teases. Fish plays the Madonna washboard and the acoustic guitar in this show. Trey's on acoustic for the intro to My Friend, which is one of my favorite things ever. Second to last, Take the A Train, and an Amazing Grace a cappella encore. This is really classic 93 Fish.
Yeah, this show rules. This is a great pick. And this kind of goes hand in hand with what RJ picked from Grand Rapids, 8/12/93. You just get like
Yeah.
this band that like they were just on such a tear at this point in time. It's like everything that they were trying to do, they could do, and so much still in front of them, but they were just discovering new musical ideas every night. It's just awesome.
And having so much fun.
So much fun.
Mhm.
Speaking of having fun, are you guys having fun?
I'm having a great time.
So much
Great.
fun. Yeah.
Perfect.
I love these drafts because it's a good window into the way that you guys learn and listen to Fish and experience Fish. And it's also a great way for us to say what we really think about each other on air in front of a paying audience.
That's a good reminder that if you are not supporting Osiris Premium, you can be a paying audience member by supporting us for $5 a month if you go to osirispod.com/premium. Wow. This is it.
This is
This
it.
is it.
RJ has 2 picks left.
Yeah, this is it. Okay. I think let me just get Connecticut out of the way quickly but I mean, not in a bad way, just because I think that's easier for me, at least, which is 10/27/13. The
Yep.
Ooh.
one of the. I mean, love that tour. We just talked about it. Maybe not quite as heavy tonight as we maybe thought at the time, but this show is really. This is when it was like truly heating up on the way to Halloween. With you have, I mean, the tweezer is in the second set, which is I think the best part of the show. Although the Fishnet jam chart says overrated by your friends, I don't think it's overrated. But you get like the first set, you get a rock and roll opener, you get a pretty interesting outro to Fee into Maze, like a callback to 93, and then you get like Song I Heard the Ocean Sing, Walls of the Cave 2 song, closer of the first set. And then you get the Chalk Dust into Tweezer, into Birds, and then a really, really big, fun Golden Age into Haley's, into 2001, into Fluffhead, into Slave to close the set. Like, what an amazing set. Energy, vibes, the whole thing. This was like, this is like Fish is going to cover the Allman Brothers, and we're all on board for this. And it's a really, really fun show.
And this weekend, I often think this is the 30th anniversary weekend. You got Worcester and Hartford, just a classic run. It's mid-October. Fish is playing, taking you out to the ball game, announcing the Red Sox scores because the Red Sox won the World Series. It's just all the feels. It's good shit. This show rules. The Helping Dog Tweezer.
Yeah, man. Okay. So this is hard. This is. I think this is a harder category.
There's a lot here.
There's a lot here. Just upstate New York.
Oh, right.
I think to me there's like two picks that that you could go with here. And again, because we're not competing anymore, like I think I could just close out. I think I could mic drop this with one pick from upstate New York.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's like there's a couple others that are a little bit like, maybe harder, but also like really good shows. But
I would argue you have like 5 shows to pick from here.
you think so? Yeah.
It's so
Like,
stacked, this category.
I don't think you
It's
can
the
go
most
wrong.
stacked. Yeah.
Well, I mean, just because like why would I not pick 103194? Like if
I mean, that is a
Yeah,
big
I know.
show.
It's a big show.
it's a big show.
Even
Probably should have
without the
taken it
cover,
off.
it's so good.
I mean,
Probably shouldn't have included it because it's such a big show.
Yeah.
But,
yeah,
it's there, so you got to
it's
take
there.
it.
Yep.
And
Is
I
that
have
what you're
to- I have
taking?
to do it. Yeah, I'm doing it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you got to do it. You got to do it.
Like I think there's the 12/7/95. There's the 12/11/97 show from Rochester, also great.
I love
There's
that show.
There's those closing shows of the fall 95 tour. I mean, there's a lot to choose from. There's probably some good, I don't know. And there's like the first summer shows in upstate New York in 93. But
There's a lot.
this just feels like the right direction.
Yeah, definitely.
They covered the
There's-
White Album.
But
And they
even
played until
without
like 3
that,
o'clock in the morning.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
so good. It's like the longest
it
fish
is a
show
good-
to date, 3:20
really good show.
a.m. It kicks off like one of the best months of Fish ever. It's like the first big simple jam. I mean, perfect divided sky. Like this show has everything. So much.
And the Squirming Coil encore ender at whatever time in the morning that was, aside from one of the best rebos in the first set, a really good simple that really is like, kind of the fall 94 jam, really like that simple just,
Yeah.
comes to life. But you get a slave and then you get the Squirming Coil finish. Wow.
This is 1994 magic. It's like tension, precision, just starting to kind of push at the edges of what's possible. And then they're covering this like epic album in the middle.
Yep.
It's like chef's kiss.
It's one of those things that like I remember getting into Fish, and there's layers to this of like, wait, this band is what? Wait, this band is what? Like they covered the White Album for the middle of their Halloween show. And then they came back a couple years later and they kept covering new albums and they would impact their overall sound. But like they covered the White Album, a double album in the middle of a Halloween show, and they did it extremely well. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Come on. Amazing pick. All right. So I'm going to hold off on telling us where we're at because we've got 2 picks left here. But like RJ is just destroying it. If you guys don't pick RJ here, it is actual bias. What?
Oh, okay. That's fine. That's fine that you're going to say that. I'm really happy with my list too. Just so
I am
you know,
too.
Brian.
I'm very
Yeah,
happy.
you guys
with
are
mine.
all-
I'm just
this
I'm
is-
just looking at RJ's picks. Like he has 103194 next to Big Cypress next to Fuck Your Face. Like
No,
I don't
he's
know
got
what,
an insane
I don't know what you're
list.
supposed to
It's
do with that.
insane. It's insane.
insane. It's
And if
totally
we
insane.
mentioned that he had 725.99, Kevin
Yeah,
Shapiro, are you
stole
listening
it.
to this?
No,
RJ
come on.
picked 725.99.
But I kind of went off with like my top jam list picks and my nostalgia picks, which might dilute it a little bit, but we'll see.
Well,
see.
we know
We'll see
now,
what this is.
as per Brian, if anybody but you and it's biased. So we'll just call it that. Unreal. It's like discounting a win before it even happens.
It's true.
It's just
All right,
so not
I
cool.
feel
So
I
great.
feel I feel attacked in the right way. So I'm just going to tip my cap to you and say thank you for pointing out
Yep.
that just grossly incorrect statement and framing that I did.
Yeah.
Megan,
Thank you for
With that-
being defending me, Brian. I appreciate it.
it's all part of the process, baby.
I do think you were robbed last time, RJ, but it's okay.
I know. I was too.
Mhm.
I do.
Meg, you have 1 pick left
Mhm.
from the festivals, which you said strangely about 5 minutes ago you are worried about, but like I
I'm
think
not
that
worried
there are
about
some-
it, but I just didn't get what I wanted.
What did you want?
Well, I mean, Big Cypress was the pick, but then it is the next pick, I think.
All right, I'm into that. What do you got next?
Well, I'm obviously going The Great Went, which I feel like is
Obviously?
good. Well, not obviously. I think I was torn between the Went
Sorry,
and
I'm just messing
Magnaball.
with you.
I was torn between those two mainly because of how you two talk about Magnaball and obviously the Tweezer Caspian. But the way you two talk about Magnaball, it's made me want to go to a fish show so badly that I have all of this. I have big feelings about Magnaball, and I wasn't even there. But I'm gonna pick the Great Went. It's the first one in limestone. There's a disco set, which clearly I would have fucking loved if I was there. There's a really gross, like giant nude photo. The Banger Symphony performs, and then there's just the Went Gin and the Monster Down with Disease and a million other things. But the Great Went is an amazing festival, and I wish I had gone. RJ, did you go?
Nope.
No.
Nope. I didn't. That second set of the second day is just there's something like really extremely special and beautiful about that. I mean, the gin, of course, but like the whole thing with the 2001 and the art jam and the hood. Man, the first glow stick war in the hood. I mean,
First one.
it's just it's a. I mean, that's just one set of many.
That is
Great pick.
that is one of the best sets they've ever played.
Yeah.
And it's so cool that Clifford Ball proves that the concept is possible, that it can happen, that we can do this. But then they move it to an even more remote location with
Yeah.
UFO sightings noted on site, and everybody has to drive up. They play with the Merry Pranksters before they go up to the Great Went. It's documented pretty well during the Bittersweet Motel documentary. Trey they play what Trey considers a bad set to kick off the festival because they didn't have a sound check and they were like all over the place. But like if you listen to that first set, you're like, what the fuck is bad about this? Like you guys sound awesome. And then they only get better and they peak with that second set on 817, which that's one of the best sets they've ever played. Awesome pick. If I could have gone to any festival, it would have been the Great Wind.
I agree.
Really?
Just
Yeah, I agree.
time and
Really?
place and the vibe of
Yeah.
it all. That festival is in my heart and soul as that's like kind of peak fish.
I should have gone.
Yeah.
There's no reason.
should have gone
There's
too.
no excuse.
I have no excuse either. I mean, I will say it was hard though because I was going to school in the West, like in Arizona, and all these festivals were like so far up north on the East Coast right before school started. So it was really tricky. That's my
Weird
excuse.
time. Yeah,
It
yeah.
wasn't good enough.
No.
Yeah, it was hard. Like I didn't have money to fly, so I would have had to find a way to drive from Maine to Arizona before school started. And,
I had a
really
friend
long
who
time.
drove to Coventry, and when Mike sent the message, he actually turned around and drove nonstop to Montana, where we were starting our sophomore year of college. He was just like, "Fuck this," and I think he's only been to like 2 or 3 fish shows since.
That's amazing.
I think you would have had different vibes had you driven from the Great Went
Yeah.
to Arizona.
Yeah, definitely.
Brian,
yeah.
can I ask you a question? We're
Always.
almost 2 hours into this episode, and
Jesus.
did you plan this that we would end this this project of yours, this brainchild of yours that you've been thinking about for a long time, that we would end it with your final pick, final category being dicks, and you have every show except 2 from dicks in history, which I assume you're going to talk about each one as you reveal your pick. Like, could we possibly have designed this better that Brian
It's a
gets
real
to finish
mastermind
this
thing.
with dicks, just like every summer tour ends at dicks. This tour draft ends at dicks with Brian, the king of
I
dicks.
love it. I love it.
It's
The
just
king of dicks, they say. That's what they
Yeah.
call me out here in
That's what they
Colorado.
this is just unbelievable.
Dick's is just such a special venue. The staff is amazing. The sound, once they nail it in, is really, really incredible. The soft pretzels are really, really nice midway through the second set of your third Dick show of 4. I take opposition to their handling of rain delays.
Yeah, for real.
I also am just like constantly stressed out every time I go into a Dick show because it's GA and I have my spot and I got to get my spot. So I have to go in right at doors and then hold it because the vultures will come and try to take your seat and be like, oh man, it's 7:49 and I just wanted to get seats for my 8 friends, bro. What's going on? And
The worst.
so that's like that's the vibe. You have to defend your territory. But when the band connects there at Dick's and they play a really good show, it's a special thing. And there's been a lot of great shows there. I was at 8/31, 2012. I've seen every show there since 9/1/17. Seen some excellent fish over the years. I'm going to go with a show that is the only time I have ever shed tears at a fish show.
Wow.
And that is August 31st, 2018.
Mm.
Night one of the 2018 run. We joke about this, but at the time, this was serious. Canceling Curveball was like, it scared, I think, a lot of fish fans because it brought back these really bad memories of Coventry. And it made you
Yeah. Yeah.
feel like this, escape that you seek and that you want to experience, that you want to embrace, can be taken away from you at a moment's notice. And I remember the internet, like fish Twitter, the day of like through the entire curveball weekend, just being really down. And I remember feeling like, how is this band going to respond to this at Dick's? Like, it almost felt for a minute they were going to cancel Dick's because they were so like heartbroken over canceling the festival. Like that picture came
Yeah.
out of Trey right when he realized they had to cancel. It was just like it crushed you. And so like 2 weeks went by, we didn't really hear anything from the band. And lo and behold, they played Dick's that year as they had already planned to. And they come out on stage and they open with Free, which was just the perfect song to be like, hey, like we can play a concert. Holy
Yeah.
crap, we are free, we were able to. And then they come out of Free and they go into Harry Hood. And they, to that point in time, had not played a first set Harry Hood since, I believe, Hampton 99. If I'm wrong about this, someone needs to fact check me. I believe that it was Hampton 99. And they hadn't played a first set Hood that they didn't open a show with since Deer Creek 97. And
Wow.
so it was just a totally crazy spot. And it felt like a big message to the fans that like, this is the emotional peak of every show when a Harry Hood is played. And we're playing it second after we had our festival ripped out from us. And I lost it. And I was just like hugging friends and I was crying. And like this band, like somehow meant something that much more to me. And from there, we play what music critic, a good friend of the pod, Stephen Hayden, called one of the heaviest fish shows he's ever heard. Like this show has emotional weight. I felt exhausted leaving this show because of all the emotion that went into it. What's the use? Gorgeous. Type 1.5 Blaze On, where Trey was just like marching across the stage, menacing at the crowd, just riff after riff after riff. Ghost into Cross-eyed, into Simple, into Cavern. Unbelievable way to end the first set. Just like you're gummy working at 10 times at this point in time in the Colorado altitude, and the band is just playing songs that do not belong in first sets in the middle of first sets. Like, what is going on? And then to cap that off, No Man in No Man's Land jams into Carini. Amazing, fighting off the curveball dragons. Carini just slaying them. Theme, Mercury, and then a light, which once again is just all Trey, just like basking in the glow of everything, just throwing it out there. They end the light. They're not even gonna mess around with like the Golgi. They're just putting their instruments down and walking off stage. They made their statement. It's over. That light is the closest I felt to the Undermine from the Fuck Your Face show at Dick's ever since then. Just amazing stuff. And even a Martian Monster Julius encore couldn't ruin it. So we had an outstanding opening night to the 2018 run. I thought at the moment, like, Man, Fridays at Dick's, this is the place to be. That has since been broken since this show, but this show was just an outstanding experience. Can't say enough about it. I could probably say more, but I'm going to let you guys speak.
No, it's a really great show. That second set is absolutely perfect. That light is definitely one of my favorite jams from 3.0. It's so special and yeah, so emotional. I mean, I feel like people were still emotional about Curveball, even like at the MSG run at the end of the year. It was it made a big deal. It was a big impact. And
Yeah.
this is the perfect show to play after that. And I think what you were saying, Brian, about having that taken away from you, also that feeling of like, we put so much pressure and hope and excitement into these shows and festival especially, and then when it doesn't happen, it's such a massive letdown. And I think Trey felt that probably more than any of us. And this show is him releasing that and so well. It's great.
Yeah,
Good pick.
I mean, nothing else to say. Was this going to be your pick no matter what, Brian?
No, my pick, if it had still been there, would have been 83112. But I identified my Dick's picks were going to be either 83112, 9117, 83118, or 9521, a show that we saw together, RJ, which is still one of my favorite live fish experiences I've ever had.
Hooked up to a machine.
Hooked up to a machine.
Oh, I love that version. Oh my God.
But I really just wanted to put the hammer down. This show, Summer 18, it has its ups and downs. I feel like it's been slightly forgotten, and I feel like this show just doesn't get as much automatic love as it should. And so I wanted to go with it. How do you guys feel about your list here? You guys feel good?
I feel great.
I feel great about
should.
my list.
You should.
Feel
I
great.
feel
Yeah.
really good about my list.
You should.
RJ, why don't you list your list here? List
Okay.
your list. Why don't you tell us your list here? And any final thoughts you have?
Yeah. Okay. I got Great Woods 7195, Connecticut 102713, Alpine Valley 62604, Missouri 72998, Deer Creek 72599, Michigan 81293, Upstate New York 103194, Festivals Big Cypress Dick's 83112. I'll put all of our picks in the show notes, and then we'll figure out how to. You can tell us who won.
It's a good list, RJ. It's
So
a really
good.
good list. Meg, what do you got?
For Great Woods, I have 7-8-94. Connecticut, I have 11-26-97. Alpine Valley, 7-14-19. Missouri, 8-16-93. Deer Creek, 8-6-21. Michigan, 11-11-98. Upstate New York, 12-14-95. I've got the Great Went as my festival, and 9-6-15 for Dick's.
For Great Woods, I've got 713.99. Connecticut, I've got 630.2000. Alpine Valley, I've got 8198. Missouri, I have 1119.96. Deer Creek, I've got 810.97. Michigan, I have 12,697. For Upstate New York, I have 713.94. For festivals, I have it. And for Dick's, I have 831.18. I would listen to all 27 shows that we picked. Like, what
Yeah,
a sign
same.
that this band crushes summer tour.
This is such a great idea and such a great. This is fun, really fun. Good job, Brian.
This was a good time. Thank you.
Yeah, really fun.
A
Thanks,
lot of work
Brian.
went into this too. And I did zero work, including 0 minutes of prep. And I actually almost missed the
Fuck you.
recording because I went to
Like,
bed late
honestly.
after this amazing dinner, and I saw your text at 8:55 that said I set up the link, and I was like, oh shit, that's in 5 minutes.
Oh my God. The fact that you could pull together a list like that with no prep, it just shows what how deep your knowledge is. I'm
Well,
impressed. I did
Thanks.
a
I've
fair
spent
amount
a
of
lot of
prep. I'm
time on
not
this
gonna lie.
nonsense.
This
No.
is what he
Spent
does.
a lot of time thinking about fish. You know,
Well,
it's a very narrow area of utility. You
it
know,
works
It
to our
is.
advantage.
This was fun. I appreciate you guys putting on your gloves, duking it out as we do. we should say from a scheduling standpoint, so regular HFPod programming, be it the top 25 countdown or drafts, are on hold until after summer tour, but we will be doing quick hits. Is it fair to say we're going to be doing these based around larger runs? What have we agreed upon here?
Yeah, I think if it makes sense for everybody else, I think we're going to do 4 weeks of weekly weekly recaps, but we're going to move them around. They're not going to be on Fridays because there's going to be shows on Friday. We'll do. I think we will say that we're going to do basically one recap per week.
Yes,
with a
Perfect.
handful of shows, right?
Yeah, cover runs, see kind of the trends of where the band is at, big jams, notable moments, big thoughts that we have as the tour is evolving. The fun thing about a Fish tour is we're about to hear a new side of this band. We have all this perspective, all this context. We know we love context here at HFPod. But we also have the unknown. And so we're going to try to break that down. We may get things wrong. Just expect that.
Yeah.
We may get things right. We may have no idea what we're talking about. And according to Trey, not do it the right way. There may be a right way. There may be a wrong way. There may be a way. Great song.
I want to say that we are going to do the weekly as Brian just described in all those ways. We might do like a one-off quick hit if need be, if it's like if the moment is calling to us, we'll pop in and do things that we need to do as we have a responsibility to this community.
Yeah, we'll keep you posted. You know where to find us.
But if you look ahead 2 months, we will be back in mid-September. We have 11 tours left. Should we announce what our 11th tour is?
Sure.
I think we should.
Yeah,
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
Coming off of summer tour, hitting this tour is going to be wow.
What are we covering, Meg?
Wow. Well, the week
I don't
of
even know. You tell me. What are we?
The week
I'm
of
not that far ahead.
September 20th, which is so long from now.
Wow,
We are
that
going to
is
be.
long.
I'm going to see the National and the War on Drugs at the Man that week.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
That's
it's going to be great. We are going to be covering summer 2017. Not sure if people know that tour or not, but it definitely happened, and it's something.
It was not on the listener list, was it? What?
It was.
What
It was.
It was?
Yeah.
It was number
13.
13 on the list.
Oh, so not
11
far
pushed it
off
to
from
11.
us. Okay.
Yeah, the rest of them are very in line. There's
Tightly
nothing
aligned. Yeah.
too off base. There's a little bit of diversion, but we're doing it. We're doing it.
There's one big diversion that we're gonna have to address with the community, because come on, guys.
We're right.
Cam Hertz, best show ever. New season next week. Thank you, VT to boot. What's up? Thanks for announcing that. Cam will be back this week. So
Awesome.
love Cam. Cam's the best.
So funny.
All right. I think we did it, guys.
We did it.
I think we did it. This was great. And we'll have more top 25 tours after summer tour, as well as probably 1 or 2 more drafts. We got to figure out what we're going to do. We need to do another jam vehicle draft before the end of the year.
Yeah.
A couple other ideas for those, but thank you all for hanging with us and soaking in the total nerddom. This was fun.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone. And thanks for letting me show my competitive side.
Have a good week, everybody.
Stay safe out there, guys.